Well, here it is, folks. The Lenovo 3000 H210 in service in my office. That's all the noise it makes. And quite frankly, I am extraordinarily happy with that. The old Dell that was here was very, very noisy. I've had this in service since December 25th, 2024. And it has been absolutely amazing. So at this point, it's been running for just about a month. I'm sorry, just about 2 months in total. And I can't even believe it's been that long. The system has been running flawlessly. There were a couple of programs I forgot that I needed, which weren't a problem because I just went and installed them and everything was perfectly fine. You can see that I have the Digital Concepts card reader with the broken door right on there. This is an extension piece that was on the WIF's computer. It's just USB-A to A like that, and it was just sitting around, so I figured I'll put it on that. I'm going to use this later when I edit this video on this machine. So it just sits there like that. This is the same one that I reflowed the contacts on for the USB port, and indeed that did work, because otherwise I wouldn't have it around anymore. So yes, that definitely did work, and squeezing those little prongs on there also ensured that the USB plug is nice and solid. This machine has been an absolute game changer all around. There are some upgrades I would like to do to the machine, such as adding the modem from my old system, but I can't do that easily at this point because the CRT monitor is still here, and if you remember anything about that, if this thing loses power for anything more than about half a second, chances are very good it's not going to turn back on again. And it has still been just barely holding on with an occasional shit fit here and there. So kind of waiting on the upgrade on this until that happens. As far as extra memory for it, I might have to cannibalize another system for that, and quite frankly I don't think it is actually even necessary. There have been a few times in these past 2 months where everything starts happening at the same time. The WIF will send me a message. I get 3 emails in. Meanwhile, I have a video that I'm actually rendering on here while trying to watch another video that I've already gotten loaded up and all of that. And do things come to a grinding halt?
It's 1 p.m.
Well, it's 1 p.m. on the Vox clock. Do things come to a grinding halt? Yeah, a little. And when I say a little, I mean a little. I might have to wait 5 seconds to regain control of the system. The old system was more like 5 minutes, and I'm not joking about that. It really was, in certain circumstances, when everything was happening at the same time, that dead slow. I don't really understand why, because this machine is running, well, technically less RAM, but by the same token, the same amount of RAM as the other machine. But this is a 64-bit platform as opposed to a 32-bit platform. So perhaps that has something to do with it. The main saving grace here is the SSD drive that is in this machine. Without that, this thing would be pretty dog slow, just like my old system. And it's kind of funny because the video editing rig still has a mechanical hard drive, and this thing well outpaces it despite having a slower processor. For processor intensive stuff, this thing, you know, it surprises me, but by the same token doesn't surprise me. Really, the only thing that'll slow this thing down is in the event that I'm actually rendering a video on it, because that's using, pretty much 100% CPU usage. So trying to do other stuff, things start slowing down to a crawl. It makes the video rendering take a lot longer, but it doesn't eat up memory like it was doing with the old system, where it was just like constantly paging out to the swap file. That just doesn't happen here. If it did, I would definitely see the hard drive light over there be blinking or doing stuff. In fact, I will load up my video editor here. It should blink a little. There it is. It's actually loading right there. You can definitely see. And one click and that will get into the editor, which is now open. That was not unacceptable. It is, yes, slower than was originally demonstrated when I first set the system up, but your system is always going to slow down as time goes on and as more shit is running and things like that. Plus, you know, I have a web browser with how many tabs? 4 right now open, and a Explorer window open. So that, you know, that also is right there. I'm in the middle of writing an email to someone, and as soon as I'm done with this video, I'm going to edit it on this very machine using said card reader from before. Everything has been working very well on this system. I'm actually rather surprised with how well it has turned out. And out of the two machines, I definitely feel that I made the right choice, despite this system having a bit slower processor than the Dell Inspiron 545S. And there is another video featuring that system now in service. I don't know if it will be before or after this one. As of this very moment, it hasn't been recorded yet, but that may change later. I don't know. Anyways, I definitely made the right choice. The only thing I wish this had would be a parallel port, but that's not even a deal breaker because my printer that uses the parallel connection also has USB and is connected that way, but that doesn't even matter because I don't print to that printer anymore because it's inkjet and it's out of ink, and I barely print anyway. So that parallel cable is just hanging back there as a vestigial organ because it has nowhere to connect. It has a serial port, but I actually don't have any serial connected devices to this. It is, however, loaded down with all kinds of other accoutrements that you would never even imagine on here. I have countless USB things. Some of them stopped working. Some of them don't work anymore. Others I don't even use anymore, but they're still connected. So there's a plethora of stuff. Let's see. There is a wire. You just can't see it. There it is, just barely right there. That is for a barcode scanner. Can't tell you the last time I used that, but hanging just off to the side, see that wire? And that plug? That is for a USB headset. Ooh, it's rainbow. That's great for LGBTQ LMNOP plus minus divided by, or whatever you call yourselves today. Those people that like rainbows, that's great. I thought these looked cool, and China sent this to me a long time ago. I love this set of headphones, and I hate this set of headphones. It really blocks out the outside sound, which is great. They fit kind of tight, but I think they just kind of need to be broken in, so to speak, like that. The microphone is nothing great, and I wouldn't do voiceover with it. It's there, it'll work, but I have much better microphone and headset setup on the video editing rig. So if I have anything really serious that I need to do, it gets edited there. Something like this, which really is going to require no editing, I will do with this. I insist on editing with headphones because you can hear stuff. And yes, I can turn the rainbow lights off if I want. Sound out of these is nowhere near as good as my other set, but is certainly sufficient for what I need in here like that. One thing I didn't have was a way to store these headphones. Fortunately, I purchased a bracket that just goes on with like a clamp with a screw mount kind of thing, and it's got a hook, and I can just hang it up and it just sits there out of the way. And that was like $10 or something, and it was the best $10 I ever spent. It's plugged in here, and there's a damn good reason for that. And that's because this machine, another thing I wish it had was 2 more USB ports, which the old system had on the back. There were 6 on the back, 2 on the front. This is 4 on the back, 2 on the front. So I have this one available for the card reader or a flash drive or anything else that I need to plug in. You will notice there are 3.5 millimeter jacks right here, and I definitely would have loved to use a headset that used that instead of USB, except for the fact that I can't. And the reason I can't is because this is a Lenovo. This was meant as a budget computer to start with, and for some reason, in Lenovo's infinite wisdom, they decided that when you plug shit in up front, it will disable the rear speakers, the rear connections. So you can have front or rear, but not both, and you can't differentiate between, well, this is plugged in the front and that's the default device that I want, and not the speakers which are plugged into the rear jack. It does not have that kind of capability. It's just not there. It's front or back, and that's it. And I don't want to be plugging and unplugging and plugging and unplugging shit in there, because that's how you break shit. There's a story associated with that I will spare the details of. But, and it never happened here, actually. It happened at the WIF's job years ago, but that's neither here nor there. All in all, I definitely made the right choice for this system to be in here. The noise level is way better than I thought it would ever be. What you are getting is a bit of a hum, and that is actually coming from my speakers because they are aged, shall we say, on the order of almost 30 years old. My computer speakers are. So the caps in them are not quite as good as they could be. Or it might just be the power supply. I don't know, but I kind of don't really hear it over the sound of the system, so it's not really a big deal. If the system were even quieter, such as that Dell Inspiron 545S, there is a good chance I'd be hearing that hum a lot more, but it's not an invasive hum like a buzz that's kind of ear-grating. It's just there. It's just a low hum, and it doesn't bother anything. It's just kind of there, and I never even notice it, really, when I'm sitting here. I would have loved to plug that into one of the many USB hubs that are plugged into the system, but there's just not enough fucking USB ports to go around. And there are way too many USB devices plugged into this, where occasionally upon a reboot, which is rare, I'll have to sit there and wait as it goes and enumerates the various USB hubs to then find my Logitech iFeel mouse, link in the description to that. And that way I would have control of the mouse. It usually only takes about 10 seconds or so in the event I reboot and that occurs. But other than that, I've been very happy with this system. Of course, this is a temporary thing because we don't know how much longer Windows 7 is going to be viable. I know it has no support now and hasn't for many years, but it is still viable to use on a day-to-day basis, and it has been working extraordinarily well. One of the main reasons that I swapped this system out was because of some software that I can only run under a 64-bit platform. It so turns out that very soon after this machine was put into service, they stopped support on that program for Windows 7 64-bit. So it doesn't matter that it's 64-bit anymore. It just can't be Windows 7, and I'm not willing to run a newer operating system than that. So that program, unfortunately, I still can't run. However, I have found since, with a lot more searching, a couple of online sites that will do the job online and allow me to download what I need. Really, in essence, actually faster than these programs were doing it when they were still running and viable. So it actually has been a time saver, although a little more labor intensive, of opening that site and going and doing what I need to do in there and uploading files and downloading them and all that kind of stuff to convert them to the formats that I need for the various things that I do. So it's been a bit of a workaround in terms of that, but it's okay because that still operates under a web browser under Windows 7. So that kind of means that I really never needed to swap this system out if I would have found those sites, because I wouldn't need to run the software locally. So that old Pentium 4 really could have still been in service. But like I said, it was really time for it to go. It had more than lived its day, and that was that. As far as performance of this machine, like I said, it's fucking blazing all around. For video playback performance, it actually can play not only a 720p video, which the Pentium 4 struggled to do at best, usually dropping 90% of the frames. This can play it in full frame rate and can even play 720p in 60 frames per second. Nope, sorry, not recording in 60 frames per second because it's really unnecessary. And here's the fun part, a couple of videos that I will watch have been recorded in 60 frames per second. And I put them on and I go, wow, look at the motion on this. Holy shit, that's so realistic looking. It's so, I can't believe that. It's almost dreamy in terms of that. And 2 minutes into the video, I don't even notice it anymore. So the 60 frame per second shit, nope, it's still unnecessary, and probably will very rarely, if ever, make an appearance on this channel just for the various cameras like webcams that might record, dash cams that might record in that kind of resolution. But this can play those higher frame rate videos, which is kind of a nice thing that I was never able to do in the past. Anyway, that is pretty much going to do it. Very happy with this system. Huge thanks to Tollboy, who had given me this system after he stopped using it because it was just too damn slow. Well, I guess I'm a pushover for old technology. I don't know. I made it run nice and fast, and it's like a million zillion times faster than my old Pentium 4. So I can definitely get along with this for as long as Windows 7 is going to be viable. And we don't know how long that's going to last. Could be just a matter of days, or it could be several more years. But we will cross that bridge when we come to it. Otherwise, definitely well worth all of the time and effort that I put into getting the system up and running exactly the way I needed it to, and working 100% of the way there before putting in service. So it was a true drop-in replacement. So this is what I will be replying to most of your comments with, unless I happen to be at the video editing rig. But most of the time it's from this very system here. So the legend of this system will live on. Link to Tollboy's channel in the prescription, as well as some other videos that I had mentioned before. So make sure you go check those out. Thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Make sure you click like. Make sure you click subscribe, and take care. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.